Good morning, folks. Let's get right on into this. I know I'm a little later than normal, but I wanted to come online this morning and talk to you some more about what I shared yesterday. Good morning, Deborah Fowl. Good morning. Good to see you online this morning. I mentioned yesterday that I was going to talk about 10Ks this morning, and I couldn't think of who I should really use to talk about this, but I went ahead and decided, okay, who's very popular in the news. Welcome, it's Lonnie. Again, this is Kofi Ford coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, just backing up here for a second. I have been going into the last few days retirement topics, and I was going to move into good morning. Was it Bakalishik? Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. Bakalishik is what it looks like it's saying. It's the first time I've seen you on my scope, but welcome this morning. Good to see you online. I'm not sure where you're coming in from, but I always love to see where people are tuning in from. I see some people who've been on before. Thanks for the hearts. Definitely keep those coming. I promised you all yesterday, and about yesterday, really quick, every day I plan to record my scopes. Good morning, Kip Fortstick. Good morning. Good morning. Love to see where you're joining us from. In any case, I've been talking about retirement, and I know you're from Indianapolis, Deborah. Welcome. I definitely remember you, but definitely thanks for sharing it. I think it'd be great for other people to see where you're tuning in from. But a note about yesterday, I always make an intent to record these scopes just because I know they're only out here for half an hour. 24 hours. Oh, Atlanta, that's right, Lonnie. I remember you saying that yesterday. I'm just out of Marietta myself, so we're not too far from each other. Cardman 337, welcome. This morning or yesterday, I neglected to record that scope, so you may hear some background noise. I'm actually in the process of recording yesterday morning's scope right now, where I was talking about pensions and what you need to understand about pensions should you have one with your company as you get to retirement. You can probably see my calendar on the wall behind me. Young memory. I'm not sure what that means. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? In any case, it is being recorded. I'm just waiting for that to finish. Fortunately, I am going to stay on topic this morning and stick to my time frame that I've set for myself, and I'll finish with this before that one finishes and get that all set up and get that moved out. Okay, good. I'm glad to see that's a good thing. But I'll get that scope moved up to my Facebook page and my YouTube site, so that you can definitely tune into that and not miss anything that I've put out there. But I made mention yesterday of 10Ks, and then I wanted to talk a little bit about 10Ks. How do I know this stuff? I'm so young. I appreciate that, Deborah. It's amazing what's of interest to people. I'm probably a little bit older than you may think that I am, especially, knowing that I've got one in his junior year in college. So you can see these grays, they're there. You keep everything else really low and it blends in. So, I actually do have one that's a junior in college. So I'm a little bit older than I look. God's been good and my youth has been renewed like the Eagles. So, I'll take the youth, and I'm actually 42. So you were right there, Deborah. It's pretty doggone good. But yeah, I've got some good genes, and I'm very appreciative for that. In any case, I wanted to talk this morning a little bit about 10Ks, and couldn't think of who to use, but I went ahead and pulled up Apple. This is all free information, and I invite you, if you're a company, if you've got a job, I invite you to look up your company to see what's happening in your company. I'm going to turn the camera around this morning just so you can see this information, because I think it's very eye-opening. Should you be working a job, and you can see kind of what's happening at the top levels for executives. And I'm going to talk about 401ks, Deborah. So I think I'll get to that tomorrow, though. I wanted to pause here. Since I mentioned 10Ks, I wanted to show you all, where this information is and what information is contained within it that might be of dire interest to you, especially as it relates to, the things that are being done for executives versus what the mass employees get. So this is going to be, I think, the first time I looked at it, when I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe the difference in treatment. Absolutely amazing. And you may feel the same way. It may bring up some other emotions inside of you. I'm not sure. But it's going to be awesome information this morning. Strap on your seat belts. I looked a little bit through this Apple one already before I came on to talk about it. And, some of the numbers that I'm seeing will probably blow your mind when you see them as well. So we're going to pick up this camera and we're going to turn the camera around so you can kind of see this screen on my laptop here. So here you can see my laptop, and I'm going to go into widescreen. So forgive the camera shift here, but I wanted you to be able to see more of the screen if possible. So I'm going to scroll back up really quick and get back to one of the first things that I saw, just to kind of give you an idea. And this is, I looked up Apple's 2014 10K. All you got to do is type into Google Apple or whatever company you're looking for, and then write in 10K, and that's the number 10 and the letter K, literally together. But what I'm looking at right now is the section that talks about, and this is their 2015 proxy, because for them, I went into their 10K, and you could see in their 10K that it mentioned the proxy statement was where they were going to put out all the compensation for the executives. And I'm going to show you who's on their executive compensation committee. Let's go in here a little bit closer. Don't worry, I'm going to go in closer. But here are the members of their compensation committee. You can see one name that you might recognize there, and that is the name of Al Gore. So kind of giving you an idea of who's there. But don't worry, I'll go in closer when I have something to really focus in on. But the first part in here, they're only talking about sales of the company. So I'm not going to really focus a lot about that. But they're basically building the case for why they're going to be paying Eli Lilly. I may do Eli Lilly. We'll see how much time we have, because I definitely want to start talking about 401ks. But you can always, if Eli Lilly is a public company, just type in Eli Lilly in Google and then type in 10K, and it'll bring you to their 10K. Just look up the 2014 numbers. Let's see. But yeah, stock price increased 46.1. I've got Apple stock. I don't have any of their products, but you can see here, company stock price increased 46.1% during 2014. I can tell you, as an owner of the stock, it was a great year. So you don't have to be an employee of the company. I'll talk about this more when I talk about 401ks tomorrow, because you couldn't buy this stock potentially in your 401k. I actually have a self-directed IRA, so I can do more of these things. In any case, I'll talk about that more as well. Let's move forward. It talks about who's joined the executive team, and then it talks about their executive officers. So here you can see executive officers for 2014. Tim Cook is their CEO, and then they've got some other folks that are mentioned. These are Chief Financial Officer, who's the Senior Vice President, the former Senior Vice President who was in there for a time period in 2014, the former Chief Financial Officer. Then you can see the other folks, the Senior Vice Presidents of the company. Okay, so these are the folks we're going to be talking about, and they've got to, by law, show this information. They've got to. I mean, this is anything you can look into for any public company. So let's see. Working shareholders at Lilly for one of many positions. Awesome. Awesome. That's awesome stuff. But I want to show you, I don't want to show you, in my last corporate job, on top of my base salary, I had a 10% bonus. So that was where my income stood. And that bonus was a moving figure because things would change based upon the performance of the company over the year. So let's see. Looking at Tim Cook and the other shareholders, you can see that he's not received any equity award since his promotion in 2011. So no bonus has been given out. He's only had his salary. Very nice. Let's also look further. So to further enhance the link between the executive officer's pay and the shareholders' interest, 40% of the total grant value of the annual equity is delivered in performance-based income. So they're going to get a lot of their income from bonus. And you can see already it was a great year for Apple. Let's also look forward. Let's see. Compensation Committee also increased the target and maximum cash bonus opportunities for each executive officer to 200% and 400%, respectively, of each officer's base salary. Wow, look at that. They get a bonus incentive. More than double and more than 4 times their pay. I don't know if your bonus looked that way. I told you mine was 10%. And that was always, lowered because of some reason the company didn't perform, as expected. I'll try to get closer too so you can see everything. But again, I'm zooming out just so you can see all the information that's kind of in here. But as I, pay more attention to some of the specifics, I want you to see, and I'll move forward with the camera so you can see it a little bit closer. So they talk about, how they pay out things and, what they will do and what they won't do. They're talking about emphasizing long-term equity awards and executive payments. And you can kind of see that over here. And it may not be clear, but hopefully it's coming in as clear as possible. They're talking about how they're lining up their pay. Okay. So that's basically the gist of it there. And I won't go through all the language here, but I just want you to see some of the highlights and really jump to, how they're putting all this together. So here you can see they actually selected the following peer group for 2014. So they're looking at folks from these companies to see how they should reward their executives. So you can go through and look at some of these examples later and see how these folks are being paid. And you can see, this kind of makes sense. Google is a competitor. You can see how they're paying them. Microsoft and IBM, Disney, one of the highest paying companies that there's out there. If you ever look at their 10K, I've looked at theirs for years. But you can see the mix of companies that they use, which will give you an idea of how those executives are being paid as well without even looking at that information. They have a backup group, a secondary peer group that they looked at. And I was making a little bit more than that. I was making a little bit more than that, Deborah. But, in the end, I think I scoped about this before. What you end up finding, if you're not an executive, if you are just an employee, the interesting thing is that no matter how much you make, you're all at the same level. And it all ends up balancing the same. Oh, and I think my recording finished on the other side, so I'll have to go through and adjust that since I'm going to probably run longer here. In any case, let's continue to move forward. I can tell you, Deborah, not having college is not a hindrance. The biggest thing is within what you desire to do. And no matter what, I take people without a college education who have a ton of desire and show them how they can live the life that they always dreamed. Desire is an amazing thing. If you've ever read Think and Grow Rich, as a matter of fact, they talk about in there how desire completely changes everything. And through desire, people basically change the course of their lives. But I'll probably scope about that another day. You can go to my website and look up some stuff there as well on my website, KofiFordOnline.com, about just that. I was actually born to a single mom myself. And it's amazing. I applaud single moms. There's some phenomenal, I can tell you as a single mom, all the things that you do already, you've got more than enough ability within you to do whatever your heart could ever desire to do. And also knowing your background, you've always got the scripture that says that, that God will give you the desires of your heart. So you can do whatever you want to, Deborah. And let's jump back into this here. I've got the first compensation figure, just so you could, get an idea of what's happening here. So let's see. Alrighty. So here you can see his performance-based equity award. This is bonus that was paid out to him. And I can see it goes dark when I kind of get away from the light here. So I'll try to keep as much light on the screen as possible here. But in here you can see they placed more than 123 million of the original grant date of the value of the award at risk. So he's got now, as you can see, more than $123 million. And at one point it had an excess value of $197 million as just a performance-based award at the end of 2014. Continuing forward, show you some numbers here. We got some other executives that they mentioned, and I talked about the amount of bonus that they were receiving, but I want to get into the actual base salary. Don't worry, I'll go in closer. And again, this is more designed to show you that the information is out here, more than really focus on the 10K itself, because all of them are going to look a little bit different. But let's get into this piece here. As you can see here, I'm going into cash compensation, the role of cash compensation. Oh, I'm sorry I came on at the worst time, Deborah. The great thing is this is going to be on the replay for 24 hours, and then I'm going to record it anyway and put it on my YouTube page as well as my Facebook page at facebook.com/Kofi Force. So you can always go out there and take a look at it. But here you can see base salaries. And you can see, you can always go to my website and it's, or tell folks to go there and they can watch it, on my Facebook page or on, my YouTube site. I know folks love YouTube videos, so it'll be out there. But you can see his base salary rose from $1.4 million to $2 million. Now, I didn't do a calculation, but I'd love to see somebody do a calculation of that. I can tell you that represents a more than 60% increase, though, in his salary. I don't know what your salary increase was last year, but I would venture to say that it was less than 60%. Let's go on. Let's continue forward. And it says in the base salaries of the other executives, they increased those from $875,000 to $1 million. Wow. So that represents a little bit more than 10% than their a 10% increase on their income. Not bad, huh? Not bad at all. It's a pretty good year for them, right? Now I'll give them this. It says the change was the first increase of Mr. Cook's salary since November 2011. But he's been making $1.4 million every year, as well as he didn't receive a bonus, but every year over year, he's received $1.4 million. So November 2011, a year through 2012, 2013, 2014, and then bam, he gets an increase. Great increase. 4 years without one. I applaud him for that. But you can definitely see that they had a great year. We already talked about, the performance base. This is their bonus. And we can see that it increased, 200%, 400%. So they've had a phenomenal year. I mean, I can tell you, I would when I was working as an employee, I would love to have had that. So it's important that you know these pieces, and we can see what else they may have here. I didn't get a chance to look at any further, but it talks a little bit more. Let's go into one of the executives here, because it actually puts out their information by individual, so you can see exactly how they were compensated, which is absolutely amazing. Let's see. So we've got one person here, Angela Arentz. You have a blessed day as well, Deborah. Thanks for jumping in. And I know I'm going a little bit long here this morning, but I just wanted to give you a couple more things. So I'm getting close to 30 minutes, and I'm way beyond where I want to be. Said I was going to stay on schedule, and here I am going way off. Hopefully you all are finding this valuable, though. Let's see. We'll definitely catch back up tomorrow, Deborah. So don't worry, and definitely see the rebroadcast so you can see the further information, or go out and pull up your own so you can see what's happening. But you can see that this lady was one of the highest paid executives in the UK, held unvested Burberry Equity Awards with a value of approximately $37 million. Not bad. Not bad at all. She also received cash, and others exceeded $5 million annually. Not bad. So she's been living a pretty good life. Let's see. You can see that she was made whole for that $37 million when she came over to Apple. She also received a new hire award with a value of $33 million. That's called a new hire. I don't know what the RSU, had to look that up specifically, but it's a reward that she was paid. Not bad. Now let's see what else that she got. And they do this for every single member of the executive team, which is absolutely mind-boggling. Let's see. So you can see here, similar to the company's executive officers, other than Mr. Cook, the CEO, she receives an annual salary of $1 million. And then she was also eligible to participate in the company's performance-based bonus program, cash bonus program. So not bad on a pro rata basis. So they just basically, over the year, they distributed the amount evenly. She also received an on-hire bonus. So when she got hired, they gave her $500,000. Not bad. Intended to offset some of the cash that she was scheduled to receive at Burberry. When is the last time when you were hired, a company actually gave you a bonus to start to make up for the amount of money that you were going to be leaving at the old job? Not bad. It's paid, over the course of 12 months, and whatever's not paid, if she doesn't stay, of course, they forfeit that. Let's see. She resided in the UK, so they approved a relocation package for her and her family to move closer to the company headquarters. Package included full reimbursement for any taxable payments related to the relocation. Not bad. Let's see. So she also received some other severance, for Burberry, which you can read down there. I'll invite you to look that up yourself. Let's look at some of the other things. Just kind of give you, they go into the next person, Luca Maestri, and go into this person's compensation. Let's see, they probably have been around for a little bit longer. Resided out of California prior to joining in 2013. So, it talks about the same stuff, the salary, relocation package that was received. See if there's anything more that they mentioned here. Stock that was given, not bad. 280,000 shares, it's not bad. So let's see. Let's look at this one really quick. Stock ownership guidelines. The CEO is expected to own shares of the company's stock. They have a value equal to 10 times his base salary. Whoa. So it gives you an idea of how much in, I would say, fortune is given out to the CEO. Here's what we wanted to look at, though. Summary compensation table over the last 3 years. And you can see again, it mentions all the top executives in the company. You can see the year and you can see the salary that they received, as well as the bonuses that they received, any stock awards that they received as well. They've got more. They've got the non-equity incentive plan. Wow. Look at these numbers. And then all other compensation. What is all other compensation? Well, all other compensation goes into stuff like cars and houses and all that kind of stuff. So if we look all over, total paid out. Tim Cook walked away in 2014 with $9.2 million. Luca Maestri in 2014, $14 million. Peter Oppenheimer, not bad, Peter. He got a stock award that year, $66 million. So his end of year was $68.5 million in 2012. It dropped down though. It's back to $4.5 million. But just giving you a kind of idea of how these top executives are treated. You got to know this stuff. So look up the 10K for your own company, and it's got a whole lot more, but we're running long here. Let's see if I can point to something really quick from this table to give you more. Let's look up, this other compensation. You'll see that it's got a letter of G down here. So let's go to that reference at least underneath the table, see if we can find what the G refers to below. May not find it here. I don't want to waste you all's time. We're searching for it, but they make mention of all these information. But it goes into some more details on what all these amounts mention. some details of the table. More compensation of the executive officers, and it goes into some of the cash bonuses that folks received, other things. You can see some of the amounts in there. So great information. And more and more and more out there about this. So let's turn the camera around. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up because we've been on for quite some time today. And it's never my intent to be on that long. So hopefully you found some value in that. I know I ran a little bit long, but that's a 10K. That's a sample. That's apples. Might be good to find a smaller public company just so you can see. But maybe you can send me a message on Twitter if you'd like to look up another company. I know someone asked to see Eli Lilly's numbers. But if you've got one you want to see, definitely let me know. Just wanted to point this out so you could get an idea of how the income disparity is so huge at the highest levels of a company versus all those who are coming in and working all the hours at a lower level in terms of role within the company. So if you're not being compensated fairly, this might be a reason why. Remember, first, any public company has to pay its shareholders. Their first priority is always shareholders and making sure that they have value. So I can tell you I appreciated the 46.1% return in stock for Apple last year. Thank you, Apple, for what you did. But you got to know as an employee the difference. You got to know the game that's being played within the organization in terms of income. And there'll be a lot of people who probably don't like me scoping about this, but you need to know this. Now, if you feel like you're not being paid or compensated fairly, you've always got things that you can do to help you out in that department. I do it every day. I help people every day as well. You can always find out some of your options available by going to my website at KofiForwardOnline.com. Let me go ahead and wrap up today. I've been on much longer than I ever intended to be. But again, hopefully you got some valuable information out of that. I will be back online tomorrow morning, and looking forward to my conversation with you all then. Take care, share the broadcast, and thanks for the hearts today. Talk to you soon.